Hey, welcome back to Daryl DTV, and this is part 6 of my Richard Corben comic collection. Now, if you've been following the channel, you know that I've been on a quest probably for the last year and a half, I would say, or so, uh, of finding every comic book from my favorite comic book artist, Richard Corben. And here we are at video number 6. It's kind of bright out here in Phoenix, Arizona today, so I'm going to be squinting a little because I've got the sun right in my face, and I was trying to find, the right position so that I could get the best shot I could. So bear with me, okay? I have a really nice, exciting little stack of comics I want to show you. I would say of all of the books that I'm looking for, and I would like to have everything, but of course, my main priority is grabbing all of Corben's work in comic book form, first and foremost. After that, I'm not too concerned, but I will continue to look for some of his other stuff, like the magazine stuff, which I actually have, a nice little stack of comic magazines featuring Corben already. But for right now, we're going to just talk about stuff in comic book form. Now, I would say I'm probably somewhere around three-fourths into everything I'm looking for as far as the comic books. I would say somewhere in there. And I'm at a point now that a lot of the books that I'm looking for at this point are either on the expensive side or they're on the cheap side but not readily available, because some of the comic books, some of the cheaper books just in general, you might find in the dollar box or the 50-cent box, if not at all. They don't usually leave that stuff around, sitting around too often. So a lot of comic shops don't feel like it's worth actually keeping that stuff around since it doesn't have a lot of value. So I've had to start looking on different websites online to find some of these books, opposed to just checking the local shops. And even in the local shops, it's like really, really hard to find, some of the older stuff. The newer stuff, a lot of the Dark Horse stuff, that stuff is still, relatively in arm's length. But some of the older stuff you don't normally see too much. That's why a lot of times when I go to shops, I ask, do you have any underground comics? Because you'll find Richard Corben books within the underground genre, or cult comics, if you will. I ask for that. It's a lot easier than just asking for Richard Corben books. So at this point, I've been to all of the local comic shops here, 2, 3, 4 times over in the last 2 months or so. So I pretty much, have gone through all of that stuff. It's not, much around. Every now and then I'll come across something I bought before and it's reasonable, and I'll grab it. Like this Living with the Dead. What's that, issue number 1 out of 3? I showed this in a previous video, but I saw it, I think it was maybe $1 or 50 cents or something like that. So I'll be selling that soon. I have a bunch of Corben books I'm going to be selling, because if I find doubles or triples, I still pick them up, especially, when they're super cheap. So at this point, the books that I'm going to show you today are a mixture of books from some of the local shops and stuff that I've actually been buying online from a few different websites that sell comics. So to start off, I would say, when I got maybe halfway to the halfway mark of the books that I was looking for, that's when I decided just to make a list, because I'm notorious for buying the same book 2, sometimes 3 times, because I'm not thinking about what I've already bought, or it's not etched in my mind or anything. And so, I end up buying books that I don't need. So I decided to make a list so that I knew what I had and I knew what I didn't have. And I would just, do a little research, check different sites and see, what was out there. And sometimes, a book would just pop up that had never heard before previously. I just didn't come across it. And that's one of the books that I want to show you. One of the first books today I want to show you. And this is Ripoff Press, and it's called Fire Cell. And this is a book that's multiple writers and multiple artists in this book. And I actually found this at where did I? Oh, I found this at a local shop called Monster Comics, and I hadn't seen it before. I saw it the first time I went in there, but I didn't know about the book then. So after doing some research, I had added this book to my list, and then the second time I went in, there it was. I mean, it was there before, but I recognized it because I knew it was from my list. But I was happy, to get it. This one I don't see often at all. Um, like I said, when I was there the first time, there's a Corben book right there in front of me, and I had no idea. So, in fact, I was so excited when I bought this. I believe it was the same day or the same week I was over at Greg's Comics, and I picked up a second copy at his place. And both of these were super duper cheap. I haven't opened either of these yet. Actually, most of these comics that I'm going to show you today, I haven't opened them yet. I have a ton of reading to do. I'm really backed up. I'm kind of in transition because I'm, in the process of moving. So a lot of my stuff is still in storage. But I'm going to show you what I can and explain these the best I can. Next up, I want to show you. This is from Image Comics. This is the Liberty Annual 2013. And as you can see there, it says there's Richard Corben. I don't know if they interview him in this book or if he actually does a story in here. I've never heard of this Liberty Annual before. So let's just take a quick look inside and see just how Richard Corben is represented here. So let's see what we have. Dunn's Return, story and art by Richard Corben. Okay, so he does actually do an actual story in here, and that's kind of what it looks like. Check that out. So yeah, I'm not real familiar with the Liberty Annual or what it's actually all about. But there appears to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stories in here, and Corben is one of them. So yeah, Liberty Annual 2013. Next up, this is the first issue of this I found. This is a 3-issue run from IDW. This is Bigfoot, and this is number 3. This is Richard Corben, Rob Zombie, and Steve Niles. I've seen other Rob Zombie comics. Rob Zombie, the singer, is into horror stuff, and this was his one of his projects, comic book projects. And I've seen his other ones, and they always seem to be cheap, but Bigfoot always tends to, be a little pricey. Every time I've come across them, they've been between 10 and 20 bucks per issue. I only found this one at a local store, Dreadnought Comics, and it was behind the counter, under the counter somewhere. It wasn't even out with the regular stuff. I just happened to ask about a Bigfoot comic, and I go, oh, I think I got one, Anyway, so I still need the other 2 issues of this, but this will be a nice start for Bigfoot. And next up, we got back to Greg's Comics. I was really happy I found this because I had first heard about it, um, and then I found it like soon after that. This is issue number 1 of Weird Fantasies. I know some of you Corben fans are real familiar with this book. Um, I'm not sure what this normally goes for, uh, but I was happy to get my hands on it. And so I was able to knock that off the list because in the past, like I said, when I would look up some of these titles, I didn't come across this until later. And I think I found it in less than a week of me even discovering what this book was and that Corben was inside. Not Corben art on the cover, but definitely a Corben story inside. At that same store, Greg's Comics, I found Barbarian Comics. I'm not sure what issue this is, but I was able to flip through this one, and really cool Corbin story in here. This is not his art on the cover. They also had a issue of a title called Barbarian Women. When I went back, I was going to grab that one, but somebody else had grabbed it. Apparently, there's a new contender over there at Greg's. He told me, Howard, the owner, told me that there was another person coming in there asking for underground comics, and I noticed because when I first went in there, as I said in a previous video, there was a complete long box full of underground comics, and then there was like a half of a box, and that was like a magazine size box, and most of those had a lot of Corben books or underground books, and the larger size comics and underground newspaper comics, from back in the day. So but when I went on this last trip, it was like the long box was 3/4 empty, and the other box was about I would say about the same amount. So whoever this other collector is was really picking up a lot of stuff. So I didn't find the Barbarian Woman comic, but I did end up finding another copy. The price was right, so I didn't want to leave it behind, and I figure, like I said, with my doubles, I'll be selling those off. So I just got to put all of these extras together and make a video eventually or something. If you see anything interested in, please contact me. Next up on the list, I forgot what shop I grabbed this from, but this is a 4-issue series from Dark Horse. This is Alien versus Predator War, and this is issue number 4 of that. Apparently there's 2 Alien versus Predator books that feature Corben. This is another book that just has Corben art on the cover. He's not inside anywhere. And this is like kind of different than a lot of the Corben art that I normally see. This looks, a little more cartoonish, if you will. A little more rounded, I guess you could say, than his normal work. Not a bad thing, but just looking at this blindly, I would never think that was Corben art. But apparently it is. So he did the covers for those. This is issue number 4. And there's another title called Aliens Alchemy, I believe, which I believe I had an issue of that I showed you in the last video. That's the other Aliens title that features Corben art, and I believe that's cover art only as well. Not 100% sure, but I think that one is just the cover art too. Here's another one, a really cool one. I picked this up. I don't remember where I picked this up, but it was definitely at a local shop here. This is another Corben cover only from DC Comics. This is Jonah Hex, number 31. And I love this cover. This is classic Corben art. For those that know, they know that's Corben. You know Corben when you see him, right? So this one, I looked at all of the local shops, ended up finding it in one of them, but it definitely is not one that you come across very easily. So I was glad to mark that one off the list. On the previous video, I think it was within the first, maybe the first or second video, I showed you a book from Vertigo called Flinch. I believe issue number 1 featured just the Corben cover. This is issue number 16, and this also is just the Corben cover as well. This one, not some of his best work at all, in my opinion. I just, just not real into that. It, seems oddly out of place. Maybe because it's not something crazy, some kind of sci-fi or horror, whatever. I mean, granted, it's got this ugly looking baby thing on it, whatever that. I can't even tell what that is or whatever. But the Flinch comics, I see them everywhere. Real cheap. In fact, I think I have a second copy of issue number 1. This came from Ash Avenue Comics here in town. I was glad to mark that one off of the list. Also from Ash Avenue that I picked up, I want to show you. Like I said before, issues like this Flinch and this other comic I'm about to show you, these are real cheap books. They don't go for a lot of money. They're not sought after, and they generally, a lot of shops generally don't keep this stuff around. It's usually in the the dollar boxes. This was a book that I was really looking for. Really love the art on this. It's another cover only Corben project, but I found this in the dollar box. I just decided, what, let me look through some of these dollar comics, because I hate flipping through dollar comics, because usually they're newer books and they're books I could care less about. It's usually a DC or a Marvel book of some superhero I could care less about, no offense. But this is from Vertigo. This is issue number 8 of the Crusades, and I was so happy when I pulled that out of the dollar box. I went in that dollar box specifically looking for this book, and I found it. And they had like a number of Crusades books in there, and I was just like, come on, give me the right one. And boom, there it was. And you see how the hand of armor and the sword, and the woman sees her reflection in there. I thought that was really cool. Artwork, incredible cover. I suppose I'll flip through this and see what's going on inside, but cover only for this one, but I was glad to get it. Seems like I picked up a lot of just cover only books from Corben on this latest run. Another local store in town, I won't really say the name. They're sort of like a music video game store that has like some books and comics in it. They're pretty much a joke. Their prices are absolutely ridiculous, but I tend to go in from time to time to see what fell through the cracks, and they have a bunch of just random comic books in there. But I was happy that I was able to find, this is issue number 5 from Image Comics of Jim Lee's C23. This is another one that's cover only. Corben's not inside anywhere. There's a good chance I won't even flip this book open, because I can't see myself being into this at all. But there's the Corben art right there. I paid 99 cents for this. Very happy. The crazy thing is, if I don't find these $1-2 books at the actual shops, then online that same book is usually $3-4, and then by the time you turn shipping, or by the time you pay for shipping, that $3-4 book turns into an $8-9-10 book. And who wants to pay $10, $8, $9 for a book that's really only worth $1 or less? So I was happy to find this for $1. I've never heard of C23. Not sure what it's about. I'm pretty sure I won't be interested on what's inside, but I'm so happy I found it and that I didn't have to pay a ton of money for it too. So those are the books that I actually picked up inside of the shops, since our last visit. Now what I'm going to show you is some of the things that I got in the mail. Some of these are from different websites. These are things, some of these books I, just didn't find them in town. And at this point, the local shops, are pretty empty. There's one shop, like Greg still has some, but I have a lot of those books, on this way across town. So I only go over there when I know I'm going to be buying for sure. But I want to show you guys some stuff that I got in the mail. First and foremost, let me show you this one. This is from a good buddy of mine now. comicKkrakK on YouTube. He has a fantastic channel. He talks about a lot of just random independent comic titles. Incredible comic book collector. And what I really liked about his channel is that he's like he's a reader. He's like I'm the type of person, I don't grade my books. It's a no slab zone over here where I am, and I'm a reader, and I like hearing what other readers, true comic book collectors, have to say. And I guess he saw one of my videos, and I was saying how Den was one of the runs that I was finishing up from Carson, from the Fanagore publishing company, his own personal publishing company, and I was missing number 8. All I needed was number 8 to finish that run. And comicKkrakK was nice enough to message me and say, hey, you know what, I have an extra copy of number 8 and it's yours if you want it. I said, of course, I would love it. And he was nice enough to mail it to me. And this is coming all the way from Canada. He's in Canada. And so we all know how crazy international shipping can be. And so would you look at that? Look at that beautiful book. This book has eluded me for the longest. It's been online, but it's been a whole lot more than I wanted to actually pay for it. So I was just patiently waiting. And of all of the books, the Corben books that I've been collecting, I've really wanted to complete all of the runs from the Fanagore publishing company. Those are the ones that I wanted to complete because those are the oldest ones. They're harder to get than some of the newer Dark Horse stuff. And now I have completed my Den run with issue number 8. So a big thank you goes out to comicKkrakK. Make sure you check out his channel. I love the fact that he just talks about all of these random books. He gives you a nice down-to-earth perspective on these books he's finding. He's not trying to break the wallet with a lot of these books. He's turned me on to a lot of stuff that I've never heard of before. And there's a few titles that I'll definitely be chasing after I'm done with my Corben run. So thanks again to comicKkrakK. Make sure you give him a follow on YouTube. Okay, let's see what we have next. I'm not sure what these are, but we're gonna open these up and just see what's inside here. I know what I'm expecting in the mail. I got a few more that's coming in, but we'll save that for video number 7. Oh, there's one that'll be on the next video. Wow, I didn't think I would get it. A really expensive book that I got for I got it a lot cheaper than what it usually goes for. So I'll be showing you that one in the next video. So I decided that for this video we'll just kind of do a unboxing for the ones that I recently received. I went to my P.O. box the other day, and I just had a really nice stack of comic books in there. So let's see what this is. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay, I believe this was actually I think this was from eBay. This is, let's see, let's take this out. See what we got going on here. Yes, this is Congo Bill from Vertigo. This is number 1, issue number 1 of Congo Bill. And then issue number 4 of Congo Bill. This is another one. I've never seen these in the shops, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I almost think I have the other two. This might even complete my Congo Bill run, if I'm not mistaken. I think I actually have the other 2 issues of it. This was a 4 issue run on this title. Man, look at that artwork. Look at that. You know, Corben's art always gives me, like, it's almost like the character he draws, just the regular people, they look like little people, like tiny little humans. They don't even look full size. It's almost like a signature look of his that he does. But all right, Congo Bill. Another one that's been hard for me to come by. Let's see here. I'm being careful, don't worry about it. Ooh. Now this one, this is a cool one. Wow. This book, this is from Vertigo. This was a one-shot. It says issue number 1, but I don't think it went any further. This is just a Corben cover. But man, when I saw this cover, I loved it. This is Underground Soldier, issue number 1. And look at that. Man, how cool is that? This was one that I was really looking for. Granted, it doesn't have an inside story, but man, do I just love this art. I just love this artwork, man. He did some really cool work for Vertigo. Glad to knock that off the list. What do we have in here? Okay, I'm gonna make sure I open this correctly. This is issue number 2 of Horror in the Dark. This is another one that tends to be super expensive, this book. This is I showed you issue number 1 on the previous video. So here we got issue number 2. This was a 4 issue run. So I'm still looking for 3 and 4. And I will find them when they enter a price range that I can handle. This guy did a really poor job of packing this. It came just fine. It's in fantastic condition. No bag or board. Flimsy envelope. He could have done a lot better. He or she, whoever I got it from. But I'm glad it came here in one piece without any damage. But man, Horror in the Dark, that's a run I'm definitely trying to complete. Again, off of the Fanagore Press. So I'll be looking forward to completing that run. Let's see what we have next here. this is how you pack a comic book. This is really thick cardboard packing. No chance of this getting bent during transit. I can't even get this out. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This is another one I've been looking for a while. It seems like when it would pop up, it would cost more than what I wanted to pay. This cover is incredible. Death Rattle #1. Horror. Look at that. Look at that beautiful Corben horror art. I have some other issues of Death Rattle. I think I have shown you some in some previous videos. But man, this cover is just incredible. Just incredible. Incredible art on that. I think I have all of the Corben books from Death Rattle. Kitchen Sink Comics. Volume 2. I'll take it all day, any day. Glad I picked that one up. Okay, let's see what we got next on the menu. And what do we have here? Oh, let's see. Very, very nicely packed. What do we have in here? Ah! Star the Slayer. This will complete my Star the Slayer run. Here we have issue #1 of Star the Slayer from Max. And issue #4 of Star the Slayer. 2 and 3 is in a previous video. Make sure you check that out. But wow, now I'm finished with my Star the Slayer run. Very happy about that. Another just cover art only book from Corben. Incredible. Incredible. Oh, look at that. Very cool. And also, we have, now this one has really eluded me. Never came across this in a comic book shop at all. This is a variant cover of Cable #7. Cover only. But this one, I after a while, I figured I would have to get this online somewhere, because there's tons and tons of Cable books in every shop you go into, but this one, I've never seen this once. Variant cover only. Very happy to get my hands on this one. And that'll do it for that Cable. This has been a really nice stack so far. I have a few more that I want to show you before we get out of here. this is going to be, oh yeah, look at this one. I never heard of this book until I actually did some research. This is from Vertical, issue number 1, Weird War Tales. So that is not Corben art on the cover, but he does have a story inside where he works with Simon Revelstoke. They both, I'm assuming he's the writer. Corben's doing the artwork inside there. This actually is a 4-issue run, but this is the only issue out of that run that has Corben art inside of it. Have you guys ever heard of that? Anybody familiar with this book? There was a Weird War Tales, I believe, I think it was from DC from the 70s, I believe. But this would make sense because it's DC Vertical. So, glad to mark that off my list. And last but certainly not least, let's see what this one is. Looks like it's 2 issues of something. Let's see. Oh, I gotta open up some more. Okay. Oh. No, this is Liberty Annual. Remember, I just showed you one at the top of the video. Here is Liberty Annual 2013. It's another real thick book, multiple stories for multiple writers and artists. This feels like maybe it's 50 pages, 50, 60 pages, something like that. And that features a Corben story inside. As it says there, it's not Corben on the cover, but definitely features a Corben story inside. Wow. What a stack. Nice little stack. Wow, that really took a big chunk off of my Corben collection. Man, really excited about that stack. Really anxious to dive into it. And I'm just gonna keep going. I know that I think the last video I said I think I was 30 books away from completing all of the books I was looking for. I was way off. I think at this point I'm probably 30 books away. I think somewhere in there. So it seems to me like a lot of these books will fall into the category, as I mentioned earlier, of being really expensive, which I'm not going to be quick to go for those books. I'm just kind of patiently waiting and hoping to find them for a price that I can live with. And then some are just books, just kind of random books, random titles, one-offs, whatnot, that are really not a whole lot of money at all. But I really would like to find them locally, which will probably be next to impossible. But I'll probably end up taking that $1 or $2 and $3 books, and it'll probably end up being a $8, $9, $10 book. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt, right? Yeah, I don't agree with that either. Anyway, that'll do it for now. Thank you so much for joining me on this Richard Corben quest, my favorite comic book artist. And hopefully I'll see you soon with episode or video number 7. Wow, 7. Thank you for joining me. I'm Daryl. This is Daryl DTV. You guys take care. Peace and love.